Hello, my friends. Welcome back to English Unlocked. I'm Peter. Today we're diving into something every English learner struggles with: how to stop translating in your head and finally start thinking in English naturally. Have you ever caught yourself forming a sentence in your language first, then slowly trying to turn it into English? It feels slow, stressful, and messy, right? In this lesson, I'll show you 3 powerful techniques that can help you unlock your English brain today. How to think directly in English, how to train your ears for real-life conversations, and how to build natural fluency without memorizing grammar. Stick with me until the end, because I've got a bonus exercise that will literally change how you think in English forever. If you enjoy learning this way, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video so you won't miss out on more powerful lessons and fascinating stories every week. When I started learning English, I was just like many of you. I wanted to speak well, but every time I tried, I felt stuck. In my head, I always thought in my language first. Then I tried to change the words into English. It was slow. It was stressful. And sometimes I forgot the words I wanted to say. I remember one time I was in a small cafe. A tourist asked me for directions in English. My brain froze. I knew the answer, but the words came too late. After that, I felt sad. I told myself, why can't I just speak fast like them? But slowly I learned something important. It's not about speaking fast. It's about training your mind to think in English a little bit every day. At first, I started with simple things. When I saw a cup, I said, cup. When I saw a dog, I said, dog. I talked to myself quietly in English. It felt strange in the beginning, but I kept going. And after some time, my brain started to use English more naturally. I didn't need to translate every word anymore. It was a small change, but it felt like freedom. So, if you also feel slow or nervous when speaking, don't worry. We all start there. What matters is to start thinking in English, step by step. In this podcast, I'll show you simple ways to do that, just like how I did it. Let's learn together. After some months of practice, I started to see small changes. I could understand short English videos without reading subtitles. That made me so happy. But there was still one big problem. I didn't know how to keep English in my head every day. One morning, I had an idea. I told myself, what if I make English part of my life? So I started to change little things around me. When I woke up, I said, good morning. When I made coffee, I said, let's make coffee. I talked to myself in English about simple things. It was funny at first. I even laughed at myself. But it worked. English started to feel like a friend, not just a school subject. Every time I used it, my mind became faster and lighter. Sometimes I forgot words. Sometimes I said them wrong. But I didn't stop. I learned to smile and say, it's okay. Mistakes are part of learning. And the more I used English, the less I translated. That was when I realized something very important. Learning English is not only about study. It's about using it in real life, even in small moments. That's how you build confidence. That's how English becomes part of who you are. In the next part, I'll tell you how I found fun and easy ways to practice speaking every single day, even when I had no one to talk to. Let's keep going together. When I started using English every day, I felt more comfortable. But I still had one big problem. I was afraid to speak. Even when I knew the words, my mouth didn't move. I was scared to make mistakes. Maybe you feel the same sometimes, right? One day, I decided to change that. I told myself, Peter, stop being shy. Just speak. So I started small. I talked to myself in front of the mirror. I said things like, "How are you today?" Or, "What will you do tomorrow?" At first, it felt strange. But after some time, I started to enjoy it. Then, I used my phone to record my voice. When I listened again, I could hear my mistakes. It was funny, but also very helpful. I learned to fix small things, like how to say words clearly. And every day, I sounded a little better. Later, I joined an online group for English learners. We talked once a week, just simple topics: food, movies, family. No one laughed at mistakes. We all helped each other. It felt nice, like having new friends around the world. That's when I learned a very important lesson. Speaking is not about being perfect. It's about being brave. Every word you say is a small win. Don't wait until your English is perfect. Start now. In the next part, I'll share how I learned to listen better, because good speaking starts with good listening. Let's keep learning together. After I became more confident with speaking, I realized something new. My listening was still weak. People spoke too fast and I couldn't catch the words. It felt like all the sounds were mixed together. I understood one or two words, but not the meaning. It was frustrating, really frustrating. One day, I decided to listen every day, even just a few minutes. I started with easy podcasts and short videos. At first, I didn't understand much. But I kept going. I listened again and again, the same video, the same voice. After 1 week, I noticed something small. I could catch more words. After 1 month, I could understand simple sentences. That made me smile. I didn't need to understand every word. I just needed to understand the idea. I also learned a trick. When I listened, I didn't pause. I just followed the sound and repeated what I heard. It helped my mouth and ears work together. This is called shadowing. It felt hard at first, but slowly I became faster and smoother. Sometimes I listened while walking or before sleeping. English became a sound in my life, not just a lesson. I started to enjoy the rhythm, the music of English. So if listening feels hard for you, don't give up. Just listen every day, even 5 minutes. Your brain will learn little by little. In the next part, I'll tell you how I made reading and writing in English fun, even when I didn't have much time. Let's keep going together. After I got better at listening, I wanted to read and write in English too. At first, I thought reading was boring. The words looked hard, and sometimes I didn't understand the meaning. But then I found something that changed everything. I started reading short stories made for English learners. The stories were simple but interesting. They made me feel calm and happy. I read one story every night before bed. If I saw a new word, I didn't stop to check right away. I just tried to guess the meaning from the sentence. Later, I checked the word and wrote it in a small notebook. That notebook became my little English treasure. For writing, I started very small. I wrote short sentences about my day. Like, "Today I feel tired," or "The weather is nice." It didn't look special, but it helped me think in English. After some time, I could write longer things, like my plans or my dreams. I also joined an online group where people wrote in English and shared ideas. Reading their posts made me feel part of a big learning family. We all made mistakes, but we learned together. That made me keep going. So if reading and writing feel hard for you, don't worry. Start small. Read easy things. Write short sentences. It's okay to be simple. What matters is practice. In the next part, I'll share how I learned to stay motivated every day, even when I felt tired or lazy. Let's keep learning step by step. ChatGPT NOI. After I started reading and writing, I felt more confident with English. But sometimes I still lost my motivation. Some days I felt lazy. Some days I thought, I will never be good at English. Have you ever felt that way too? It happens to everyone. One day I asked myself, why am I learning English? I wrote down my reasons. I wanted to travel. I wanted to understand movies without subtitles. And I wanted to talk to people from other countries. When I read those reasons, I felt excited again. It gave me energy to keep going. I also made a small plan. Just 15 minutes of English every day. Not too much, just enough to stay in touch with the language. I listened while I walked. I read before sleep. I wrote one short message every morning. Small actions, but they worked like magic. When I felt bored, I changed my routine. Sometimes I watched funny videos in English. Sometimes I played English games. Learning became fun again. I learned that motivation is not always strong. You must protect it. You must make English a part of your life, not just a subject. And one more thing, celebrate small wins. If you learn one new word, smile. If you speak one full sentence, be proud. Every step matters. After I started talking with real people, something amazing happened. My brain began to change. English didn't feel like a foreign language anymore. It started to feel natural, like a part of me. But I also noticed something. Sometimes my old habit came back. I still translated in my head before speaking. One day, I decided to stop that. I told myself, no more translation. Just think in English. At first, it was hard. My mind felt slow, and I couldn't find the right words. But I didn't give up. I started small like before. When I saw things around me, I named them in English: chair, door, sky. When I walked outside, I talked to myself, it's hot today, or that dog looks cute. It was simple, but it trained my brain. Slowly, my thoughts began to switch. English words came first, not my own language. It was a strange but wonderful feeling. One day, I realized I had just finished a full thought in English. without translation. I smiled so big that day. Thinking in English is not about speed or perfection. It's about training your brain, step by step. When you use English every day, your brain learns to trust it. And soon, you will speak without fear, just naturally. So if you still translate in your head, don't worry. We all start there. Just practice small, easy thoughts in English every day. That's how I did it. After I found ways to stay motivated, I knew it was time to use English with real people. Books and videos were good, but I needed real conversations. At first, I was nervous. I thought, what if I say something wrong? Or, what if they don't understand me? But I remembered, learning means trying even when it's scary. So I started small again. I joined an English group online where people just wanted to talk. We used simple words and short sentences. Sometimes we made mistakes, but no one laughed. We helped each other, and that felt great. Later, I met tourists in my city. I tried to talk with them, even for 1 or 2 minutes. Sometimes they smiled, sometimes they spoke too fast. But every time I tried, I learned something new. It felt like opening a door to a bigger world. I also made some international friends on the internet. We talked about music, food, and daily life. It wasn't just about English anymore. It was about connection. I realized that English is not just a subject, it's a bridge between people. Of course, I still made many mistakes. But I stopped caring so much. People don't need perfect English. They just need to understand you. And when you speak from your heart, they always will. So if you want to improve fast, find someone to talk to. Even one short chat can make a big difference. After I learned to think in English, I wanted to use it in real life. I didn't want English to stay only in books or lessons. I wanted it to live in my world. So I started using English at work, when traveling, and even in small daily moments. At work, I began writing short emails in English. They were not perfect, but they were clear. My boss was surprised and happy. That gave me more confidence to use English again. Then, when I traveled, I spoke to hotel staff, taxi drivers, and people on the street. At first, I was shy, but every time I spoke, it became easier. I also started helping my friends learn English. We practiced together, shared words, and corrected each other. It was fun and it made me feel proud. Teaching others helped me remember more and understand better. One day, I realized that English was no longer just a skill. It was a part of my life. I used it to connect, to help, to learn, and even to dream. Sometimes, I even dreamed in English, and that made me laugh when I woke up. So, don't wait for a perfect time to use English. Use it now, even in small ways. Order food in English, write a note, talk to a friend. Every real-life use makes you stronger. After 10 years of learning English, I understand one big thing. Learning never really ends. Even today, I still learn new words, new sounds, new ways to say things. Sometimes I listen to songs and find one new word that I never noticed before. And that small word makes me happy. When I was younger, I used to think one day I would finish English. But now, I know English is like a long road. We just keep walking. Some days are easy and some days are slow. But every small step is still a step forward. If you feel tired or think you are not good enough, please remember, everyone starts small. Even native speakers make mistakes. It's okay to forget words. It's okay to speak slowly. What matters is that you keep going. Sometimes when I look back, I smile. Because I remember the day when I couldn't even say, "How are you?" And now I can share my story with you in English. That's why I always tell my students, don't stop. One day, you'll be proud of yourself too. So, keep learning, keep speaking, and keep smiling. English is not just a language, it's a journey. And your story is still being written, one word at a time. Thank you so much for listening to my story today. Before we finish, let me share 2 small tips that helped me the most on my English journey. Tip 1. Speak a little every day, even when you're alone. Talk to yourself, your pet, or the mirror. Tip 2. Listen more than you study. Songs, podcasts, or even short clips help your brain get used to English naturally. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe so we can keep learning together. Thank you for being here. Keep smiling, keep speaking, and I'll see you in the next episode.